Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Everybody Loves Tom. I'm here with my friend and fellow castmate from Special Forces, Jack Osbourne. Dude,
how are you, sir?
How you doing, man? Thanks for coming on.
I'm glad everybody loves Tom.
Everybody does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a rough scene out there for you these days, bro.
But it's safe in here.
It is safe in here. This is
nice
a safe space.
here.
It's the safety tree, the trust nest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a cocktail. So you said you really like crushing Arnold Palmer's.
Yep.
And you like Celsius.
Yep.
So, let's see what we can do here.
Okay.
Got some vintage glassware.
Ooh, I like this.
Yeah.
I just
More
wish
to
I
the
was. I wish I
citrus.
was this creative when it came to like making myself
Cocktails?
a beverage. Yeah.
Well, you can like tutorial a lot of things
Yeah.
on YouTube.
It's funny. I mean, I'm just like a keen observer. I stopped drinking a billion fucking years ago, but I just think it's,
Yeah, how long has it been?
It's been 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been like
20 hours?
yeah. No, it's been a little over 5 months for me.
Oh, dude. Oh,
Yeah.
congrats. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, stop drinking and smoking cigarettes. When this whole situation happened, I found myself just like drinking nonstop and chain smoking.
Yeah. I guess when the world kind of hates you, it's like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, right? Yeah, I was curious. This is actually a two-part question. What was your like situation specifically that got you to sober up? And then the second part is, do you want to take a shot and do a bump of Coke before you explain that?
I'll only do a bump of Coke if it's off your nipple.
Okay. Which one, my first, second, or third?
You're a fourth.
My fourth? All right.
No,
Cool.
so I stopped drinking because I was getting pretty bad, with drugs and alcohol combined. It was 2003. It was like the height of like the Oxycontin wave.
Oh my God.
So I kind of fell into that.
I'm like so lucky I didn't like break an arm or like get my wisdom teeth pulled or anything.
To where they were like, here you
literally
go.
Throw
Yeah.
Oxycontin at you.
Yeah.
Fucking heroin.
Yeah, it was insane.
I mean, dude, it's heroin.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, but it ain't much better these days out there though, with all fentanyl out there and shit. Like I was talking to a buddy who I've been in recovery with for a very long time, and he was telling me he knows 8 guys this year alone that have died.
I know a few people. It's like people that literally do like cocaine maybe like on Halloween and New Year's, and like that's it.
Yeah.
Like a couple bumps or whatever, and they're literally just dead.
Yeah, it's a fucking scary time out there now. It's like it's definitely a good time to be sober.
Yeah, man. I've like literally told people, I'm like, dude, do not do any like random like, because that's like a thing. Like people are like, oh, you go in the bathroom, like, oh, you want to bump, But
Yeah, no, fuck that. Those days are over.
yeah, they're long gone.
All right.
So what we
have
here?
We're gonna add a little zest to it.
Yeah, we're gonna top it with a little bit of lemon lime sparkling Celsius.
There you go. I like this.
A little mint here.
That's a good vibe, dude.
Dude, cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for the. Let's give this a whirl.
Let's see how it is. I call it right now the working title is the jumping jack.
Okay. That's actually pretty good.
Not bad, huh?
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
All right, and we're back, and we are chilling here having some
Mocktails.
some mocktails. Yes.
Cheers. Clinky. Cheers.
Cheers. Jason, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking some
Some good lovin'?
Tom's Good Lovin'.
It's my rye whiskey.
Oh,
whiskey.
look at you.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I'm sure. At what point are you gonna implement an embargo against discussing it? I think what you should do is just an idea. You should basically do a thing where, be like, all right, anyone can talk about this with me until January 1st, 2024, and then I'm fucking done talking about it. That gives you to the rest of the year. You could write it out. Anyone, you could do like an AMA every day. Ask me any question online. Ask me anything. Get it all out, and then you're like, and we're done.
Huh.
Because I think you're more layered than that.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I think I am as well. But I don't know. It's like, it's really tough with, with the show that I'm on, you know, that seems to be like the things that we talk about often.
Yeah.
You know, just with, you know, having other people do things on the show, like it like gets brought up, like the Jackson Kristen thing, like, you know, it's like comments and everything. Didn't some of your other colleagues and coworkers do the same fucking thing?
Yeah. Okay, so
it's different though because it's me.
Okay, well,
they don't want to talk about that.
No, of course.
They want to talk about him.
Yeah. If you could go back and do things differently, what would be like the 3 things that you would have done differently?
So I think I would have maybe worried a little less about it. I think I would have worried a lot less about trying to do it like right and just doing it, like just taking the steps to, you know, end the relationship that I knew wasn't working.
Would you have ended the relationship before engaging with Raquel?
Yeah, I wasn't in the frame of mind that I am now. But also, too, you know, throughout this whole situation, I've made a lot of like positive changes in my life, and it's been a big wake-up call for me in general. So, you know, in some ways, like, obviously I wouldn't want to hurt people the way that I did, or more so Ariana, but, you know, as far as the things happening the way that they did, like, I have to just kind of try to be grateful in a sense that they did, because otherwise I wouldn't be where I am right now.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I would have been doing the same shit.
Yeah, I think you were okay with like kind of being stuck where you were there. You're like, well, this is going to be my life.
Yeah.
Like, not super happy, like, in this relationship where we probably both aren't super happy, but like, that's what happens when you're, I guess, my age and...
Well, yeah, okay, listen, it's like I was in a marriage that was really not the best, and it wasn't the healthiest, and there was a lot of things, and I didn't make the best choices when it came to ending it. So I'm not, you know, I can't, you know, it's easy to kind of sit there and go, well, you should have done this, you should have done that, but it's hard, man. It's hard.
You're emotionally involved.
Yeah, but not only that, when you are all but married, you guys own property together. I'm assuming you guys were business partners to a degree. You're co-workers. It's a hard thing. But I think if I'm just sitting back and being, you know, observing on, you know, just commenting on what I observed, I think the one thing where, you know, I would suggest it, you know, just if you were my buddy going through it, and I knew you, I'd have been like, dude, the best thing you can do is just take radical ownership of it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when I walked in and my chick was watching the rat, you know, whatever, like the Come to Jesus, you know, shit talk fest.
Oh God.
And
the reunion.
The reunion, and I was just like, you just have to own it. Like, and that's the thing. It's like when men get caught, you know, cheating or in whatever kind of scenario, radical ownership is actually the correct thing to do.
But you're right. It's better to just take like the radical ownership and just be like, yeah, fucked up. Like I shouldn't have done this and I did it.
Because there's no making it right. Like, and that's the thing. That's why you just have to own it. You're like, you can say I'm sorry till you blue in the face. You can disclose everything that happened to your partner, but it's never gonna fix it. So the only thing you can do is just be like...
I had a lot of pent-up resentment, too. I said at one point, I was like, you know, the last 8 months is going to erase the last 8 years, you know?
I mean, we spoke about it at length when we were filming, but, like, I think that chaos, no matter what you did, you could have fucking murdered someone, whatever, it's like having that amount of social... kind of pressure, all of you, you know, your ex, Raquel, whatever, like that's a lot of squeeze, you know.
It's crazy.
And to have to, you know, withstand that, especially in this day and age, it's a difficult thing. Granted, you brought her on yourself.
Well, and in the trailer for Special Forces, you say you want to get punished. Do you think you got punished?
We all got fucking punished.
Yeah, we got punished.
We all got punished.
I want to hear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Special Forces was way more of an ass kicking than I thought it was going to be.
So for those of us who haven't watched season 1, what is the gist of the game? What is the...
It's basically, it's a show where you are it goes in the category of a competition reality show or competition show, but you're not competing really against anybody, very rarely. And even if you are, it's not really that like a competition. Like we had team events where we're like racing each other or doing whatever, but for the most part, you're competing against yourself. They're seeing what you can do. Like,
do you have what it takes to be in special forces?
So are you dropped off somewhere?
Sort of. No, it's like you have a camp, but it does start where you kind of dropped off remote.
And you guys were in New Zealand?
Yeah, we filmed this in New Zealand.
Whoa.
Queenstown.
And it was the winter. It was summer for us here in LA, but winter for you guys there.
Yeah, winter started like 2 days before we started filming.
It was freezing.
It was very cold.
Oh my
It wasn't
God.
crazy cold. It was funny because I thought we were going to maybe like Auckland.
Yeah.
So I started like getting a little bit lighter weight stuff. And then I realized it was
Uggs.
Queenstown. And, started like had to like regroup.
Yeah.
And a lot of people's luggage got stuck. Mine did.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Fucking dude, when you're not doing anything, that's the most stressful part because you're like, what the fuck is coming?
On edge the entire time.
But they're filming you being on edge, or you're just
Yeah.
waiting for stuff
You're
to
just
happen.
waiting. Like we could be right now if we were filming, like these cameras wouldn't be here, but they would just have remote cameras.
Right.
The only person you can communicate to on the entire thing is the DS, which is the directing staff.
Whoa.
And they are fucking mean. And you could be like, hey, what time? They're like, none of your fucking business. And you're
Whoa.
You have to you have to tell the head, what is it?
Staff.
Staff. Yeah. Well,
directing staff, which was Rudy. Rudy was the head, I guess.
no, I'm talking about like with us. We have a what is it called?
What are they called? Chief
Duty
recruit. Duty recruit.
Duty recruit.
Duty recruit.
Is the head of all the recruits. So you tell, like, let's say Jack's the duty recruit. Everybody's like, oh, okay, I lost my watch. My canteen's gone. I need like Band-Aids. They tell Jack that. He makes a list and he goes over and he has to stand by this rock and go like, staff, and like yell. And then they come out of like, open the door and come out of this thing. And then basically he asks them what tells them what they need. And it's like a yes, no to this, yes to this.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It was full on. It was a real, and I've done a bunch of adventure races. I've done.
Yeah, you said you've worked with Navy SEALs, right?
Yeah. Like my old roommate, he was in special operations, and a ton of my friends are in that community, and I've done all sorts of different adventure races. So it was like, I was like, how hard can this really be? What I wasn't prepared for was the duration of, like the mental component of how long it was. And how little information you're given, therefore you're constantly on edge.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And like when they say
It's like the mental.
full on mental,
You're like, I don't want to go take a shit right now because you got to run around the parade ground and go over to where the fucking Johnny on the spots are, or whatever they are, the outhouses are. And you're like, I don't want to, I mean, I've been caught with my pants down, like literally.
Yeah. You could literally be like, I'm gonna go take a shit right now. You're sat on the toilet. They'll come out and they'll be like,
recruit.
You have 10 seconds to be on the parade ground, and you're like, what
Booking
the
it.
fuck?
You don't want to like.
they'll
You're
just
like,
grab you?
my shoes are wet. I have to go put my stuff. You have to put your wet clothes into the dry room, which is like a super
Sauna.
heated sauna that's done by like a wood burning stove, and you're gonna like gotta go like get that fire going, and then you're like, but if I'm changing shoes like that, these boots take a second to like lace up. You know, you gotta like put socks on, lace them up, and then like make sure your bag's packed up correctly, and your Bergen. Yeah, you can't say bag. It's not a purse.
A ruck or a Bergen is what they call it.
Yeah, and be ready to go. And that's something I struggled with a lot.
Being ready.
Yes. Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Because that whole saying was, you don't get ready, you stay ready.
Warriors stay ready.
Warriors stay ready. Yeah. So like we had to, and I'll tell you who was amazing at making sure we were all buttoned up tight. Jojo.
Really?
Yeah.
Jojo Siwa is, and I said this to her, like,
Why do you think that is?
I think Jojo is one of the most remarkable young women I've ever come across.
Wow.
Because she is, she grew up in such a structured, tough environment dancing.
Yeah.
So
from a young age.
Yeah. So when you step foot on that stage, you are fucking buttoned up. Your performance is tight. Like
prepared.
You are prepared. And so she brought that into the camp, and it was like she made sure that we matched completely.
Wow.
What buttons were done on our pants,
And we made decisions like right away.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like somebody's missing their hat, their beanie. So it's like no beanies.
Everyone take their beanie off, or
Whoa.
if
Somebody's missing a glove.
Yeah, we had to, and she made sure we were in uniformed the entire time, and she did not falter when it came down to morale.
Yeah.
It was a great experience, if someone walked in that door right now and was like, the bus is outside, you're going back, I'd be like, let's go.
Wow.
I'd do it.
Yeah, in a fucking heartbeat. It was such an amazing experience, and I wish I could do it again.
Let's say you cut up your hand, not enough to where you can't go on, but they say like, just keep going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Figure it out later.
Oh yeah, you're bleeding.
Are you happy that it was in the cold versus the hot?
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah.
I'm Anakin Skywalker over here. I fucking hate sand. I hate sand.
Yeah, it was, I was definitely grateful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can always layer up, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't take your skin off.
Well, and that was the thing too. It's much easier because they don't want you to get any kind of frostbite or anything like that. We had really warm. I was never cold outside of wet.
Yeah.
But even when I was wet, because everything was wool and wool socks and shit like that, I was still warm, just wet. Hands down, it has to be the hardest celebrity reality show in existence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fucking hard.
Yeah. I mean, I had, like, my hands were all, but, you know, like I said, like, I didn't know this, but I guess, because I get gels, and your fingernails, I know this sounds stupid.
Of course you do, Tom.
Well, yeah.
Of course you get gels.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I get gels. I mean, because otherwise, like, they're gonna, you know, making cocktails and stuff, like, it's gonna, you know, they're gonna come off.
And
like,
you told us you're commanding officer, I'm sure.
Yes.
You're explaining. You're like,
I was
listen, I got gels.
I have gels here.
Sir. Yes,
so
sir.
when your nails grow, I let them grow out. I didn't get them removed. I didn't really have time, but also I was like, whatever, it'll be like a thing, you know?
Oh, it was a thing.
It was a fucking thing.
Immediately. He's
But
like, what's with your fucking nails?
But when your nails grow out, when you have gels, they're more looped this way towards your cuticle than they are when you get out, then they flatten out when you get out. So like my nail was pushing into, I had ingrown fucking nails.
Like in your skin.
I had like 4 ingrown nails.
Yeah.
They had like...
It hurt so fucking bad. It was like tender and like all red. It looked like I was starting to get infected.
Have you ever seen Borat, the movie Borat?
Yeah.
Not Borat. What's the other one?
Bruno.
Bruno. You remember when he goes to like the army barracks?
Yeah.
And that's what I imagine. You like
That
going
was
in.
it. No, that was fucking him. Within a day, he's got JoJo.
He's like, he has like a little like thing around his like neck.
Within a day, he's got JoJo braiding his hair.
Fuck yeah.
And he was like hanging out with the girls and like all this shit.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, this fucking guy.
You're like, that's how he gets though.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
I mean, well, my hair is like, eyeball length, so I had wanted it out of my face. and,
Well,
yeah.
in the promos, you do see you with like almost like the mohawk of braids.
Yeah, he does. It
worked.
In the promo.
I called it the Predator.
Yeah,
It looked
yeah,
like Predator
that's what it
without his
looks
mask on.
Dude, it worked.
like.
It kept my hair, kept my hair from flopping around
And then him
everywhere.
and JoJo were doing like mobility exercises and like stretching
Very
out.
limber.
Yeah. I tell you what, it's a truly unique experience in TV.
Wow.
Like I've done so many TV shows, so many things similar, but it was like nothing I'd ever done. It was amazing.
Wow.
And I feel like the friendships and like,
Yeah.
dude, I never thought I'd be in a fucking situation where it's like Tom Sandoval, Bodie, JoJo,
Yeah.
Aaron, like all these, you're like, and you're all living together. To the truest sense of the term, living together.
Wow.
Yeah. I wrestled in high school, and our coach ran us so hard. But it was great because we were in such good shape that even if we weren't as good as the other teams we went against, we'd beat them in the 3rd round. We'd outlast them.
Yeah.
And I missed that feeling of getting pushed like that, and it was really, I was looking forward to like experiencing that again, because you can't do it on your own. And even if you go to like some sort of a circuit training class. It's not the same as having that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
So you've been doing the show. I remember when the show came out, everybody watched, the Osbournes. It was crazy. It was like everybody watched that show. It was like kind of one of the first of its kind, right?
Yeah, it was the first kind of family reality show. Yeah. It was a big show.
Yeah. And then like
MTV heydays.
Man.
It was when MTV was cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was right like there was still TRL, there was still videos.
Yeah.
Now there's like no videos on MTV.
None. Well,
it's so weird.
You know what happened? There was this like gratis license that MTV had, and it was some like a license to where they could play any song, any music, anything. It was like a deal artists and record companies did when MTV started, and it basically allowed them to just, here's all the music in the world, do with it what you want. You don't have to pay us a penny because we see you as a marketing tool. Well, they stopped playing videos and they lost that license. So now there's like this whole thing about them paying and them having to pay license fees to use music, and whereas before they didn't. Like the Osbournes had the best soundtrack ever on the show.
Oh,
we could pull music from anything and everyone.
That's probably why the challenge always uses older music.
Yeah.
There's never, it's like all stuff from like 2003 and earlier.
Yeah.
Wow.
On the challenge. It's like a lot of like hits from like that, but there's never like new stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, but they probably did that though because MTV probably was they're like, well, guys, like our music's being used in reality shows, not on TRL.
Well, it wasn't
as soundtracks.
It was they just stopped using music, period. And it was always like it was to my understanding there was always it was just a handshake deal between publishing record labels and MTV of like, you play our music videos, promote our music, promote our artists, and you guys can use it for whatever you want. So that was the deal. They stopped playing music videos. They stopped TRL. They stopped being like a tastemaker for music in the kind of 2010-ish, I would say.
Probably around
maybe even earlier.
Yeah, maybe earlier. It just the life got sucked out of the whole network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they never. Their biggest fuck up was, in my opinion, MTV couldn't see the writing on the wall with the way the internet was kind of booming. They should have done. I always said they should have done what BuzzFeed did. They should have gone down that like kitschy, clickbaity type shit.
Yeah.
To stay relevant.
Yeah, doing like the like what Harry Potter character are you? Like what
They should have poured a ton of resources into that, but instead they did
what what love ballad are you?
Yeah.
Like with music.
Totally.
They should have done that. And I'm really surprised they didn't because it was always like a lot of like young, forward thinking people, but then all of a sudden they were just like, like
behind the curve,
way behind the curve, and also getting away from everything that made them cool, and that was like having cool like rock stars and like artists on and like
making cool some of the documentaries that came out of MTV were amazing.
Yeah. Some of the shows like True Life and
Behind the Video.
Oh my God, I want to be a whatever.
Unplugged.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Unplugged.
Unplugged was some of the greatest performances in the history of music.
Without
came from MTV Unplugged.
Yeah.
Nirvana, Alice in Chains, they kind of brought it back. They tried to. It just didn't hit because they brought it back too late.
Because it's been too long.
Yeah.
And like the generation now doesn't like,
I would love I think the greatest thing ever if a genie said like, here's a magic wand, like what would you do? I would love to be like, hey, let me go back in time and like try and stop MTV from dying.
Yeah.
But too late.
Yeah, man, it's like nothing like it.
But yeah, when we were on, it was Jackass, Tom Green, the Osbournes, TRL, like all that stuff. So yeah, we were in a really Andy, Andy Dick.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, his show. So it was
Punked.
Punked came out. Maybe was it? Yeah, it was before us. It was right before us. So yeah, it was.
Like
Did you notice with your show, like, I'm sure like it started off a certain way. How do you think it evolved? Do you think it became a little more like produced?
We never produced. That's the thing.
Like a little soft directed.
We never had any direction. The only thing we had was producer suggestions for like big picture things, like can we go on a vacation with you guys? Will you guys do a dinner at the house this week? That was it. Yeah. It was never like, can you do a dinner, and can you tell Jack you think he's a dick for doing what he did last night when you guys were out?
Or like, can you go do this thing that you know is really gonna piss off Kelly?
It was never that. It was never, because it back then there was all this concern about how reality show was producing, because the moment you gave suggestions, it became scripted and it would unionize. That's how it was that early on, because no one knew. No one knew, because it was like, you have people on camera, you have people doing things on camera. If you tell them to do it or give them script points, that's scripted, so it's gonna be a scripted show. And so we had to really, there was all this, it just was free. And we would film from 9 a.m. to 2 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
6 days a week.
Really?
6 days a week. We had 3 crews that came in round the clock. There was three camera teams. No,
for how long? Like how many months?
Depending on the series order, but it was between between I think 4 and 8 months. Depending on...
You said cameras there at all times, everything you did.
Everything we did. Wake up, go to sleep. It was like how we did Special Forces, to be honest with you.
Oh, wow. And for that long. Did that drive you mad at times?
Yeah, because this is when I started getting really into like drugs and alcohol, and I was really secretive, and I had this like... It was constantly a dance to be like, how do I get fucked up but not have them film me getting fucked up, because that's highly illegal? And like it was like this strange dance. And
how old were you when you started?
I was just about, let's see, we started filming in October of 2001, so it was about a month before I turned 16.
Wow.
Yeah. Whoa. And it just was this strange...
That's a lot of filming. But producers aren't like on your ass that entire time, are they?
No, then there was very little interaction. The only thing they would be like, hey, what are you guys doing today? We'd be like, oh, I've got to go to school, and then when I come home, I'm going to do homework. And
did you feel pressure to be interesting? I feel like people on reality, I mean, you could speak to this, to be interesting.
No.
Or to be...
At that point, when you're filming, I would feel like at that point, like...
When you're just starting, though.
There was no formula. No one had done it.
So did you wonder, like, why... I mean, I understand your parents, but even, like, your family is so interesting. But when it's first starting, now we know. But at the beginning, it's like, the people who don't know our family... Will they find us all interesting? Did you have that pressure at all?
My thing was like, it's not that I was like, will they find us interesting? I was just like, this is like, why do people want to see this?
Yeah, exactly.
It was like, I don't know. I'm just like a kid. I'm just fucking around.
Right. Like, why am I involved with this?
And honestly, the only reason why I did it was I was about to turn 16, and they were like, the offer that we'd got was, hey, you're gonna make $30,000 to $50,000.
Yeah, we'll get you a car.
That was it. I was like,
oh my God, it's $1 million.
I'm gonna be
at that age.
When you are 16 years old and someone's like, we're gonna give you 50 G's. I was like, I'm gonna buy myself the greatest car. It's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna this, that, and the other. And then we ended up getting a whole lot. Here's an interesting story. We filmed the entire first season, and it aired without us signing a single release.
Oh shit!
So we had them completely by the balls.
Oh my God!
And MTV knew it, and that's why we own the show today.
Oh so wow!
We own the original series complete in its entirety, like 100% outright.
That's amazing.
And so if at one point the head of MTV, we were doing TRL in New York.
Somebody got fired for that.
I don't know. Actually, I don't think anyone did, because it was kind of. We just kind of kept oh yeah, we'll sign it. And we started filming in October, and it aired in March, and it was a real quick, like, things.
Yeah, you guys had a quick turnaround.
Yeah, it moved lightning fast, and then it aired, and then I think they were like, wait, they never signed it, because everything was moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and no one realized what it was that we were doing and what it would be. And we were doing TRL in New York to promote the show, and the head of MTV called my dad up to the office, and I don't know, he got separated from my mom, whatever, and he ended up in the head of MT, I think it was either Brian Graydon or Van Toffler, one of the, I forget whose office, and they handed my dad a check, and they were like, hey, we just want to thank you for all the hard work you've done. It was for like 250 grand. And it was for all of us for the first season. It's what they were trying basically, here you go, we paid you. And my dad, I think there's a bit of a conception that my dad's a bit like oblivious to things, but my dad certainly is not. And he knew what was happening. He's been involved in enough negotiations.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
He's sat across the table too many times. And in the elevator on the way down, he was alone too. It was like him and like his assistant. He just took the check out of his pocket and like ripped it up.
Oh my
Never
God.
cashed it because he was like, we have them by the balls.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So we got paid a lot of money and owned the show, and
That's amazing.
yeah.
How many seasons was it? It was.
We did it was three and a half.
Wow.
And then we stopped it.
Wow. Why'd you stop it?
It was that thing where we honestly just pulled a page out of The Office. The British Office stopped after like 3 seasons at its height, at its most successful, where my mom was like, hey, our numbers had not really gone, we'd had the huge spike where we got like crazy, crazy views, and they'd kind of plateaued around like in the 3s and like 3 million kind of thing. And so we were like, we're good. Well, we don't want to get canceled. So we're gonna just end on top, like versus letting it die slowly. It was like a calculated decision of like, I'd turned 18, Kelly was 19, she was making music and like touring, and everyone forgets that like Kelly had like a really successful music career for a period of time, and so she was touring with like Robbie Williams in Europe, playing
Holy shit.
Kelly opened up for Robbie Williams 4 days in a row at Nebworth, which is the largest concert in British history for a single artist.
Wow.
She played 250,000 people.
250,000?
4 days in a row.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like
huge.
all of Coachella.
Yeah.
That's all like 6 stages at Coachella.
Yeah. It was Kelly was like massive with music, and she was doing TV, and I then started doing TV in England.
How do you like see her?
We used the launching platform from the Osbournes, and we all kind of just went and did our own thing.
So the thing about our show I would like that format.
The game's changed, and networks they're behind the curve. That's the plain and simple fact of it, and the fact that like right now we're recording this in the comfort of a studio, talking about whatever the fuck you want. You don't have to appease anyone, and you're gonna walk away and you're gonna own it.
Yeah.
I don't know what your guys' deal is, but like,
yeah,
it's putting the power into the content creator is something that networks have tried to remove for years because they wanted all the power.
Yeah. And now like that's going away. So it's like you gotta like accept it in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy time.
Yeah.
In the words of The Office, crazy world, a lot of smells.
Yeah.
Very true.
Well, yeah, I guess it's a good time to wrap up. But dude, it's been awesome hanging out with you, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for coming on, man.
No worries. Yeah, I'm glad we got to like the thing. I had Kelly on my podcast, and it's very like cathartic doing like a debrief about our experiences on the show. Because you're like, okay, like I could talk to someone who like experienced exactly what I experienced. So it's very therapeutic.
Yeah, definitely.
And our biggest takeaway from this,
yeah,
no more scandal, just your fuck up.
Just fuck ups.
Just your fuck up, dude.
Yeah, one of many. One of many.
Here's to many more.
Yes, many more.
I'm just about to say
Cheers.
no more fuck ups.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to many more fuck ups.
Many more fuck ups. Cheers, everyone.